Hello and welcome. My name is Biagio Mazza, Pastoral Associate at St. Sabina Parish in Belton, Missouri, and I'm here to welcome you to another Do You Know series question. Today's Do You Know question is, do you know what the outward signs of our baptismal commitment are in everyday life? During the Easter season, those newly initiated at the Easter Vigil are instructed about what the baptismal commitment is all about, especially symbolized in the light of Christ that they've been given, as well as the white garment. Um, all the newly baptized, as well as those who are already baptized, we are all instructed. As a matter of fact, those already baptized kind of renew and recommit themselves to the baptismal commitment every Sunday of Easter by being sprinkled with the waters of baptism and by renewing our baptismal promises. So the key question, therefore, during the Easter season is, what does our baptismal commitment look like in everyday life? And the lectionary readings during the Easter season really are a great aid in helping us unpack the demands of our baptismal commitment. Why? Because the Acts of the Apostles really takes place, it takes the place of the Old Testament reading in the Sunday lectionary, as well as during the weekday, we focus on the Acts of the Apostles. Why? Because Acts really unpacks how the early followers of Jesus are really trying to follow through on what the mission and ministry of Jesus looked like in their everyday life and their baptismal commitment. Once Jesus was no longer with them, how did they structure themselves? What did they follow through on? And so Peter, in the Acts of the Apostles, has several sermons in which he focuses on the first and foremost is the commitment to Jesus through baptism. And what he means by that is kind of explicit and verifiable commitment to following Jesus. And this demands a kind of deep personal relationship with Jesus, which follows through with regards to a change of mind and heart, what in Greek is known as metanoia. Our commitment to Jesus demands that we change the way we think and operate and the way we align ourselves with God's ways as opposed to our own common ways of acting. And therefore, therefore, during the first 5 chapters of the Acts of the Apostles, there are at least 3 key summaries of what the relationship among the Christian community was all about. And it really, these key summaries unpack some of the values and the lifestyle of those early communities. And I would like to name them, and then we'll unpack the very first one. The 3 summaries are located in Acts chapter 2, verse 42 to 47, Acts chapter 4, 32 to 35, and Acts chapter 5, 12 to 16. The very first is the core to these summary statements, and I'd like to read that for you. This is Acts 2, 42 to 47. They devoted themselves to the teaching of the apostles, and to the communal life, to the breaking of the bread, and to the prayers. All came upon everyone, and many wonders and signs were done through the apostles. All who believed were together and had all things in common. They would sell their property and possessions and divide them among all according to each one's needs. Every day they devoted themselves to meeting together in the temple area and to breaking bread in their homes. They ate their meals with exultation and sincerity of heart, praising God and enjoying favor with all the people. And every day the Lord added to their number those who were being saved. So in this summary statement, we can see 4 key characteristics of the relationship among the followers of Jesus. The first and foremost is fellowship or communion. The Greek word for this is koinonia. This binds the whole community together as one unit, and it leads to a kind of a voluntary sharing of all that the community has with others, especially those in need. Koinonia also becomes the focus of support, encouragement, and challenge to one another in explicitly trying to live out the mission and ministry of Jesus. The second aspect of or characteristics is that of prayers. Prayers are for each other and for the entire human family. And what does prayer do? Prayer unites us in our relationship with God, in Jesus, through the Spirit, as well as in our relationship with one another. It deepens that relationship with one another. The third aspect is breaking bread. This is essentially celebrating Eucharist, and celebrating Eucharist moves us to being missioned out to carry out the mission and ministry of Jesus with the entire human family. And then the fourth one is the teaching of the apostles. And what this means is essentially to learn from the wisdom handed down to us from our teachers and our elders and so on. And so these four characteristics become crucial in what it means to live out the baptismal commitment in everyday life. Now, the other summaries, especially 4:32 to 35 and 5:12 to 16, focus on a key aspect of community, and that is the possessions and goods. They call us for a reorientation, and this is what baptismal commitment does. It helps us to reorient our way of thinking about goods and possessions, that goods and possessions are not just for the benefit of myself as an individual, but goods and possessions are given to us for the benefit of all, the entire human family, especially those in need. So that there's this orientation that exists that the goods are for the benefit of all, and so much so that the community valued the relationship among the community rather than the safety in possessions and so on. And so ultimately the program of this, the whole of the early followers of Jesus as a model for us and what we are to do today is to be of care and concern for others, sharing food whenever it's needed, caring for the health of others and so on, treating others with dignity, respect, treating others equally without no ethnic backgrounds or divisions and so on. And all these things, as a result, were so attractive to people that they attracted other people like magnets, so much so that the common refrain throughout the entire Acts of the Apostle is, see how they love one another. So this whole program then becomes really a model for us of how to live our baptismal commitment today in our everyday lives, especially with regards to goods and possession, but especially with regards to community and concern for one another. So this was a great program then, and it continues to be a great program now. And I hope that we will follow through on our baptismal commitment by just paying attention to the readings during the Easter season. So I hope this has helped to explain just a bit of what our baptismal commitment looks like in our everyday life. And I hope you'll return again to more Do You Know series questions as we continue to delve into our Christian tradition and faith. Thank you very much.